Hey everybody, welcome back to Tangent Plant. It's been a couple weeks, but we're back.
Yes, we are. I'm Devin. That's Colton. We are here today on this beautiful evening. It has been a couple weeks, but we've just been busy. Life's been going on, but we've kept up with the clips.
Yeah, yeah, we've been busy. Hence the unfinished wall that was exactly the same as it was last time.
But first of all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Well, Colton, it has been busy. It's been rainy. Yesterday wasn't that bad until the evening. And then today it's just been raining off and on all day. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain as well.
Yeah, I haven't been up here much this last couple of weeks. I've been putting the miles in. I only had one day under 500 miles this week, and one day over 600 miles this week.
A couple weeks ago, he and I and our wives went on a double date
And just had the gayest time.
and just had the gayest of times. I was so gay during all that.
So happy and jolly.
So yeah, we went to a nice little steakhouse, and then we went to, I think it's a steakhouse.
It's a scratch kitchen. They do all kinds of shit.
Okay. And then we went to a place. It's Crazy Pens, but basically we didn't bowl. It was too busy for that. But we played mini golf, and I kicked everyone's hind end, everybody's. And then we got to witness the weirdest thing.
Barely. You kicked everyone's ass barely.
Four
me
strokes.
and you kicked the Worman's asses bad.
4 strokes.
But you beat me by 4 strokes. That's barely kicking my ass. That's just winning.
You said it. You said kicking my ass. So we're going to take that and run with it.
My wife's sitting out in the living room. She just goes.
But we also ran into the oddest thing when we were playing mini golf. And I've never witnessed this. So we might get people in the comments being like, well, that's actually how you're supposed to play mini golf. But this family ahead of us was very weird and strange. And I'm going to start this off by saying this. So at one point in time, around like the 5th or 6th hole, Colton gave somebody in this group ahead of us their phone. And then this guy
just took it upon himself to be friends with us the rest of the time.
Well, he was wearing this weird blue colored shirt, very plain, and
just a t-shirt, blue t-shirt.
Came and got the phone from the family, and it looked like he was with a different group. But then he came back to the family, and they all played together. And the way that they played wasn't like you go and you finish your hole and then the next person goes.
It was like they were playing regular golf on a mini golf course.
Very strange, very autistic behavior. And then we played.
And then I learned you something on that too. I learned everybody something. The putter head rule. Y'all was yelling at me and making fun of me. That counts as a stroke, even though it's a friggin' rule.
And well, here's the thing. Colton, see, what happened was like I had a situation where I was up against a wall, and I didn't move my ball. I just went ahead and hit it.
You chose not to.
And guess what? I still made it in the hole because based off skill.
Okay.
I didn't need to cheat. And then
I didn't cheat. I was following the rules.
Colton, in his infinite golf wisdom, so there's these fake rocks, and it came to like a point like this, and he hit it right in the crack.
Right in the crotch of them rocks.
And then he hit it back out, and we had to call a mulligan because
it was so bad.
Yeah,
it was bullshit.
But, other than the cheating scandal, it was a great time.
Cheating scandal.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I had a fantastic time, but we're gonna get knee deep into the episode real quick.
Balls deep.
I'm gonna list off some
tip to base.
I'm gonna list off some random facts, and then we're gonna get into some would you rather's, or just wherever the podcast leads us. Then I'd like to do a little bit on Operation Paperclip, the tip of the clip, as some would say, and others might not. I don't know. I'm just here,
No, it's just you.
Okay.
You're the only one.
You're a real fun guy.
Well, so I had a bit of a downward turn today.
Why is that?
We went to get we ordered my daughter's birthday cake for her birthday party next week, And then my wife was like, let's go to Hobby Lobby. So we went to Hobby Lobby, and we was just walking around, sniffing around, looking at all the cool stuff in there. And I saw the amateur rockets, the model rockets. And I was like, oh man, that would be super cool. And so I let my son have his choice, because there was one of them that would go like 550 feet. There was one that would go 675 feet. And then the two beside it would go well over 1,000. Like, we don't need one that goes that high.
Yeah.
So I let him choose between the two lower ones. Well, he picked one out. Me not knowing what the difference in rocket engines were, I grabbed unknowingly the most powerful one. The rocket was rated for it, but if I'd have known any better, I would have grabbed one of the lower powered ones so it wouldn't have gone up so high. We get home. I start putting it together. Get the igniter all set up and everything's ready to go. We get out to the backyard because the wind's blowing east to west today for some reason. So we go to the all the way to the property line, because I figured it would go up, the wind would carry it back up over the house, and we'd grab it when it landed. Now it took off, and I mean I couldn't tell, but I feel like it went further than 675 feet, because I watched it, I saw it, I was watching it until the parachute deployed, and I closed my eyes because the sun was bright. I blinked. I looked back up right where I was looking, and it was gone. And my wife and the girls were up on the patio on the house, and me and my son were standing there looking for it. Of course, my wife couldn't see it, and so it went up, parachute deployed, and it was never seen again.
That's wild.
Yeah, so then I go to get on the four-wheeler, turn the key on. The key was already on. Four-wheeler was dead as a hammer. And then so I jump it off, go to use the jump box. Jump box won't touch it, because it said the little message on there that said safety check failed. So the battery was too dead to even jump off the jump box. So we pulled it outside, hooked it up to the van, jumped it with the van. And then I get less than a quarter mile down the road into one of the fields, because I figured, I mean, by that time the wind had picked up, and the last time I saw it, it was descending very slow. I mean, it was barely coming back down. So I figured the wind had carried it. So we took off. Me and my son was on the four-wheeler. We took off into one of the fields across the road. The wheat had already been cut. And so we're over there. We get 100 yards into the field. Four-wheeler cuts off, out of gas.
God, dude, that's
out of gas.
Ass.
Too dead to try to crank back up. Wouldn't even, nothing. And so then me and my 4-year-old had to walk, I don't know, half a mile back to the house, and he was so upset. He was frowning the whole way. I felt defeated. It was awful. So then we get finally back to the house, and my wife's sitting in the garage. She's like, what are you doing? Where's the 4-wheeler? Like, MFR's out of gas. It's like, if this situation couldn't get any worse, 4-wheeler is half a mile from home, out of gas, and it's too dead to crank over. So I get the tow strap. Get a shackle, and fire up the lawnmower. Me and my wife are riding down the road on the lawnmower, going down to the field to get the 4-wheeler, get it hooked up, get it towed home, get it full of gas. Well, in my infinite wisdom, as it was, I could hear it filling up. Like, you can hear it,
Yeah.
when it gets close to the top. I look up because somebody said something. Gas overflows all over the damn gas tank, all down the plastics. It's dripping on the ground. And so then I go out to go look for the rocket, because I mean, it's a bright blue rocket with a bright orange parachute. I thought surely in a field of bright green beans, I could see an orange parachute, and it wasn't a very heavy rocket. I figured it would like land sprawled out on top of the beans. I walked up and down through the beans, trying my best not to step on any plants. And I come out of the bean field not only sloshing because we just got rain and the beans were soaking wet. So my shoes were full of water. I'm soaked from the like mid thigh down. The bottoms of my tennis shoes are packed full of mud and no rocket. Couldn't find it anywhere. It's gone. And so I've been pretty upset all afternoon. So upset that I spent $130 on estysrocketry.com to buy a new rocket and some new motors or new rocket engines, and we're gonna try again. The rocket I bought only goes 200 feet in the air, so hopefully we don't frickin' lose this one.
Would you like my opinion on some of those?
Shouldn't have shot a rocket off when it was windy.
There's always going to be wind, you know. But first, your 4-year-old frowning. Should have told him to grow up. Tell him to put his big boy pants on and, and smacked him around a little bit or something. 2.
Kick him in the hind end. Yeah, I'll give you something to whine about.
Yeah, don't you dare.
Don't you dare get gay on me.
Don't you dare get gay. Lifts up his... Anyways, so, second. Gas overflowing. Good time to clean off, the gas tank. It's a good time to clean all that stuff off.
Yeah.
Trying to turn that into a positive. Third thing, you're walking in fields, why not wear boots?
Because I already had my tennis shoes on and I was already frustrated and I didn't think about it and I didn't want to untie my shoes to get my boots put on.
That's the laziest thing I've ever heard.
I was over it at that point. So my tennis shoes are on the boot dryer currently.
Other than that, I mean, it's always going to be windy. Even if you lost the rocket, I mean, I
even had it like canted facing
towards
into
my wife and children, towards the house. I haven't had it pointed right at them, and somehow it just went straight up.
I had it pointed like into the wind, thinking that it would,
push it back. Yeah,
it would, and it did. It just, I don't know what happened to it. So I texted my uncle and I said, "Hey, keep an eye out for a bright blue rocket with an orange parachute because it's probably in one of your fields. I don't know where it is. We've launched it and it's gone."
But at the same time, in a positive note, you gave your kid something that he's never experienced before, and he got to see something really cool.
Immense happiness and awe, straight to heartbreak,
straight to sadness. My dad and uncle, they did rockets. We were in a park, and they brought like 3 rockets for me, and it was pretty cool. I don't remember us finding any of them. I think they just was like, well, they went. Now, one time, we were at my uncle's farm. This is a funny story. And he rented this house, but it was on a farm, right? And so there's silos and stuff. And so I'm like, well, let's point the fucking thing at something and see what happens. And we pointed at the silo. I don't know how this happens, but this did happen. And so we point at the silo, we do its thing, and it goes off, and it shoots off. And I thought it would just hit the silo and just like maybe explode or just like fall to the ground. Well, like ricochets off the silo. And I mean, it just shoots right up in the air. We're both like that. Like, yeah. Well, it was like we did it twice. And the second time, it kind of did the same thing, except that, have you ever seen Men in Black 1 where that guy where Will Smith touches that ball and it goes everywhere in the office and he's just watching it? That's kind of what it was like because we're like, bing, bing, like we're like trying to see where it's going to go. And it made me, but I haven't, that's a good idea. I might order some online and do some with my sons. They would enjoy that heavily.
Dude, you can buy, I don't know if it's from Estes or somebody's going to correct me. Estes. Estes.
Etsy?
No, not Etsy. ESTES. It's a rocketry company. They make little model rockets. You can buy like 12 packs, 24 packs of just rockets. I assume, well, in the descriptions it'll say like perfect for perfect for birthday parties or schools or whatever for, a group of kids to build rockets.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you could put one of those in like a PVC pipe and let it go, see if it. I wonder that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. Like an RPG.
Yeah. You're gonna see me on the news in a couple weeks. Local man shot rocket out of a PVC pipe into a bank. Did not go as planned. Well, to be fair, I was there before the bank was. The bank just showed up.
Yeah.
And I shot into it.
Well, somebody opened the door. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah. Of course I'm gonna let it go. What do you mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
I pushed the button, away she went.
Yeah. Did anybody die? Maybe 5. Not that many. Yeah, maybe.
Did I put mini warhead with a little bit of C4 in the tube? Who's to say?
Yeah. See, you know what? Actually, about C4, this was cool. Not cool, but cool. But it has to be detonated with like an electronic, like a detonator,
a little blast, like a little blasting cap.
So you could light that. People would they would cook on top of it. They'd light it on fire.
Yeah, it's the most stable. It's the most stable explosive that exists. I think that exists.
Yeah, it probably is. I wouldn't doubt it. Real quick here, let me just get in this. This. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. Teaching existed at Oxford as early as 1096, whereas the Aztec Empire in 1428 with the Triple Alliance. Okay. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. Scottish doctors...
I didn't know that. That's wild.
In the late 18th century, designed a flexible chain tool to perform something during obstructed labors. Let's see.
Like cesareans?
No, it's like semiphysotonacy? I don't know. I'm going to get scolded. France's longest land border is with Brazil because French Ghana is not Ghana. Yeah, it's Ghana. Is an overseas region of France. So that's crazy. I didn't know that. Roman Empire wasn't the largest empire in history. The British Empire at its peak covered roughly 3 times as much land area. Wow. And everybody knows this one, but just for gigs, Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb. He perfected a durable carbon filament and commercialized an existing technology invented decades earlier by inventors like Humphrey Davy and Warren De La Rue. Humphrey Davy. Sorry, my grandfather's middle name was Wilbur. So
that's hot.
Yeah, he actually was a pretty hot guy. So I'd do him, but
cute. Symphysiotomy is a surgical procedure in which the cartilage of the pubic symphysis is divided to widen the pelvis, facilitating childbirth when the baby cannot pass through the birth canal.
That's intense.
Yeah. They was using a chainsaw for that, dude.
Okay.
It is primarily used in situations where cesarean section is not feasible, such as in resource-limited settings or emergencies.
Humans can smell wet earth better than sharks smell blood.
Interesting.
Your blood vessels could wrap around the earth twice.
I didn't know we had that many blood vessels.
Yeah. Your brain generates enough electricity to power a small LED bulb. Hook me up, Steven. It's dark in here.
Yeah, no shit. Hook me up. End up looking like one of them angler fish. Put a little LED in front of your face.
Corneas are the only tissue without a direct blood supply.
Weird.
That's crazy. Yeah, they get oxygen directly from the air and tear film. This is crazy. I mean, it makes sense, but you shed around 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute.
Mm-hmm.
That totals roughly 9 pounds of skin cells every year.
Yeah, that's why
Dust.
like, well, not just dust, but like, when you buy a new mattress and then 5, 8, 10 years later you replace it and it's twice as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of all the skin cells. And most of the dust bunnies under your bed, also skin cells.
That's most dust is just that skin.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild. When you're a kid, you're just like, oh, this is from whatever, and then like an adult, you're like, I shed so much. I'm a snake.
Yeah.
I just shed.
It's like leprosy.
Looking at a distant star is literally looking back in time. Well, light takes time to cross space. The Andromeda galaxy is seen as it was 2.5 million years ago. Yeah. So when they look at like stars and stuff, like somehow like the crucifixion of Christ or something about that, they can tell by looking something about the constellations. Like you can look back and see what the constellations were at that time. I don't understand exactly what it is. I'm sure I'm wording it wrong, but that is wild. Like if you think about it, like their view from us, like if you were at that star, you would see us not at the same time as we are now, but like in the past. That's just wild, dude.
Yeah. So like if you were on the star that I'm looking at, we would both be seeing each other's light from the past.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild, dude. That's so nuts. Like time is so weird.
Like light years worth of in the past.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell this story. It's going to be not a long one. You've heard it before, but I'll tell it just because we're talking about time. So in my younger years, I did shrooms, and one night I did a heroic dose, which is like where I think I took 14 gummies of this
psilocybin.
Yeah. And at first it was really cool. I was vibing, I was seeing things. And then it got really, really dark because I made it a game. I had been like working myself to an extent up to this point. And so I thought like, oh, I still have control over my mind and all this stuff. But in this moment, I found out like, honestly, this kind of brought me more closer to Christ in a sense because
makes sense.
I never felt doom before until then. Like I've realized in that moment that time is linear. It's all happening at once. And I felt like I had no more time and I wasn't seeing things anymore. It was audible and all I could hear was screaming and weeping. And I was like, I'm going to hell. Like I'm in hell. And it was intense. And so I couldn't take it anymore. And so I got on my knees and I prayed to Christ. I was like, please take this away from me. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm sorry that I did this, so on and so forth. And it went away. And I mean, I looked at my wife. Okay, this is how all this started. This is hilarious. So I have a video of it. So I'm sitting, my wife's asleep in the living room because I'm in the bedroom listening to music and just vibing. We had lights in there and I was chilling. So I put on a hard hat. And I had a baseball bat. And like I click record, and this is me going, fucked up. And so I set my phone down on the bed and I kneeled down on the bed. I'm talking. And I'm sure it's because I sat down like on the floor, but our closet door opened and I freak out. I was like, I'll fuck you up. Dog. I don't even care what you are. And I'm like talking this shit. I have my phone. So I'm sitting in my bed. I totally forget about that. It's like 5 minutes later and I take another video and it lasts about 10 seconds. And then I'm just looking around and then you see me look up and the video cuts off. Well, dude, where we used to live, there was there were trains that would go by all the time, especially at night. And it was through like kind of like a residential area, but they had to blow their horn. They had to.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this horn
crossing coming up and whatnot.
Yeah. This horn just didn't stop. And I was like, Christ is coming back.
Yeah. He's coming for you, boy.
And I felt like, oh no. And dude, I run out to the living room. I open our living room window, like, dude, I'm like, babe, and I fling that bitch open. I was like, do you hear that? And she goes, what are you talking about? I was like, you can't hear that horn, that truck. And I was like She goes, no, I can't hear anything. Well, we had checkered floors and the floors were cracked. And I sat on the floor. And dude, I felt like I was falling into the floor because these cracks. And I yelled for her again.
That and with the checkered pattern on the floor probably dipped you up even worse. It's like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. And so I asked her to hold my hand because I have to touch something that's real, that's alive and real, to know that I'm alive and still real. And then right before all this happened, I took a shower. And whenever you're on shrooms and you see like, I'll just say steam. To me, I've asked 3 other people and they all agreed that steam is purple. It's a purple color. And all of them like, yeah, they're like, I'm like, what color is steam? Have you ever been? And they're like, yeah, I took a shower one time and there was shrooms and it was like a purple color. And so I was just watching it. I would move my hand and watch it go and swirl, and it just was cool. And I went into the bedroom and it was dark. And again, I felt very in control and it was a game to me. So I bowed and I was like, I've won. I said, I've won. Don't know what made me do that. Nothing was there. It was just me being retarded. It just was. And so I'm in my bedroom, and while the music's playing, we have a mirror. One of them's right in front of me right here. But one of them was on this wall and the other one was on the other wall, parallel to each other. And I'm like, this is weird. You're not supposed to look in mirrors, I think, when you're on shrooms. And I just started like thinking, and this is going to sound even more retarded, but my wife had this other mirror that was it was a star. It was in the shape of a star, and it had like multi-sided mirrors and then one big round mirror in the middle. And so I put that in between those 2 mirrors. And I was like, in my head, all of this made sense. To her, she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, if I take this mirror and put it between these mirrors, it's seeing a totally different reality than what ours is.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not seeing our reality because it's mirrored like 3 times over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through this mirror, to this mirror. And she goes, you're tripping. I was like, I know. That's why I'm explaining this shit.
Yeah.
I know I am.
No, it makes sense. Like that's like the carnival thing, the Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah.
That shit wigs me out sober. I don't like it.
And dude, I was bugging. Well, then in that moment, before the doom thing, it happened twice. I don't know what it was about the mirrors that made me think about this, but I was like, time is linear. I was like, it's all happening at once. There is no past, present, or future. It's all happening at the same time. And even in this bathroom, we have a mirror right here, and there's a mirror in front of that. If I look into that mirror, there's like 50 reflections of me. It's not just 2, it's like 50. It's really weird, dude. And sometimes I'll be standing there and I'll be like, when we first moved here, I would smoke and I'd go like this, and just to see if like one was slower than the other, and just be like, what's going on? How is there 50 other? It's just weird. But that doom feeling, bro, that was the craziest feeling I've never felt doom. That's the only way I can describe it. I've been scared. I've been really scared in my life, like, shit. But like, this was like, no, I can't. I'm so screwed, dude. But yeah, I can't remember what us talking about made me talk about that. But time and the lights and things. But it's all happening at once. And I don't know. When you think about it too, time is so, besides like the sun coming up and the sun going down, time is like somewhat man-made, where it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Like somebody came up with that and was like, we'll put a 1 here, we'll put a 2 here. And then it can't just be 1 o'clock. It's got to be 1:15. And then we got to mark it till it's the next one.
Yeah.
And all of that's super weird. And I'm sure I'm sounding like a stoner right now, but it is. To me, it's very weird to think about. And you can kind of get lost in it, especially when you're fried, whether you're smoking weed or you're doing shrooms or you're doing both. I was really famous for doing both. And I didn't really, I was serious. And I didn't start doing psychedelics until I was in my late 20s. Like late 20s. I smoked weed throughout my teenage years and into my 20s. But like one day I was taking like a chocolate bar that was just shrooms. And I was like, I was feeling good. And I was like, I wonder if I just rip my pen 5 times in a row. And so I did like 5 blinkers. And I was like, whoa, I'm fried. Like, I was like, I can't. It's always when I stood up too, I'd sit down and like be chilling. I'd stand up and my whole world. One time I stood up and I bent down to like put my shoe on and I looked and when I looked, everything went like that, like my whole world. It just felt like the walls went. I was like, holy fuck. And my wife's like, what? And I was like, this is wild. And I didn't tell her what I did.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday. She went and hung out with her friends, and I was just by myself, and we were going to go hang out with some friends. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go a little turned up. And I mean, we left. I took him, and like 45 minutes later, she showed up home, and she was going to the bathroom, and I was putting my shoes on. And we were leaving. So for the rest of the hangout time, basically, I was fried. And when I stood up, dude, and I like bit down, I wasn't even paying attention. When I looked down, everything was cool. But when I turned my head, it was like, ooh. And I was like, oh,
God.
Yeah. And I was like, can I drive? She goes, are you fucking stupid? I was like, well, it's just a nice day outside. She goes, no, your world's sideways. And I'm glad she said that because the whole time we're driving, dude, the fields it was like bean fields and corn fields. They were pretty much full at their, like, they'd be getting ready to go, like green wise. And the whole thing was just, yeah. And it was just like in my head, I was like, oh my God. It was the longest 15-minute car ride of my life.
It was felt like so 2 hours.
Dude. Yeah, I was like, we get there and I'm like, thank God. And my friend comes out and he has an AK and an AR in his hand and he goes, you ready to have some fun? I was like, dude,
no,
get
those away from me.
Yeah, I'm not. I was like, no, I'll watch you, but like, I'm not gonna do it. He goes, what'd you do? And I was like, I pulled out this bag and I was like, a bunch of these. And I was like, when you're done shooting, you can try some. And he goes, all right. And but like after that, after I had that terrible experience, I did it like 2 more times. And the feeling of that could happen again, even though I took a significantly less dose, ruined every bit of it. The whole time I'm just paranoid. But towards the middle end of one, I took like 4 gummies. And dude, I was looking out in the sky. It was a beautiful, like, midsummer day. The sun's going down and it's like the sky's like blue and purple and clouds are just like appearing. And I'm sitting there, I was like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, I don't know if I can ever do this again. And so I haven't done it since. I don't know if I ever will. I would love to.
It's been so long. If you did it again, you'd probably just die.
Yeah, oh my God. But it is weird. And also, like, I think I was just searching for something else. Like, not searching for like a God, but like I just wanted to experience something other than the normal. Like, after you start smoking weed after a while, it's just like anything. You're just like, it doesn't make your reality much different. It just makes you high.
Yeah.
And that's a very fleeting feeling. But when you're doing shrooms, you know you're in this for hours. And that's why I refuse to do acid or LSD. I refuse
all the man-made stuff.
Yeah, dude, because those last like 8 to 12 hours, and it's like I'm good. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine, dude. Maybe I'm just not mentally prepared for that. But that takes my dick off. Like it was, dude. It was so intense.
Clean off at the stomp.
Yeah, dude, right there. I'm a woman because I've lost my masculinity. Here, hang on. You're fine. This is a random one. Buzz Aldrin's father, and it kind of goes into what I want to talk about. Buzz Aldrin's father saw both the first flight and the moon landing. Eugene Aldrin witnessed the Wright brothers' historic first flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903 and lived long enough to watch his son walk on the moon in 1969.
How dare you? How dare you, quotation.
Yeah.
The greatest feat in human history done by us, the Americans.
But could you imagine, though, dude, be like, you seeing someone fly is a fairy tale, and you watch these 2 brothers go 10 feet off the ground or whatever, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then, you're 90 or whatever, you're in your 60s or 70s, and you're like, I just watched my boy fly off into space, land on the moon. This is wild, like losing his shit.
Go from, not even that, watched his son do it on TV.
Yeah.
When they didn't have TV. They didn't have TV back when the first flight happened.
I don't even know if radio was a thing in like the radio in 1903, like listening to the radio. I don't know if that came about until, I think that didn't come about until like the 20s or 30s. Fact check me on that super hard because.
$19.10. First public radio broadcast in America was conducted by Lee DeForest on January 13th, 1910, transmitting a live Metropolitan Opera performance across New York City.
Yeah, so in 1903, when he watched the Wright brothers do that, they didn't have
didn't have radio then. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Well, I asked my granddad all the time because when he was a kid, they didn't have TV for a while. And I was like, what's it like is it crazy getting older and like when you were a kid not having a TV and just having radio and then seeing the progression of television? And he goes, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He goes, the TV's so big and flat. I don't know what to do with it. Dude, it's funny too because they have like two really comfortable chairs sitting like facing each other. And then over their fireplace is this giant like 80-inch TV that is like on a mount and like it pulls out. So it's like
when the TV they probably started with was like 19 inches or less. Yeah, and 8,
so he'll be
inches.
watching a football game and he'll be looking like this, and the TV's like this close to his face downward. I'm like, how do you even see all of that? Like,
you gotta look all around it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's wild.
Trump says the White House is buying 250 Cadillac Escalades.
For no reason. Like, we're just buying them.
President Trump dropped a major automotive bombshell during his recent speech at the GM Milford Proving Ground in Michigan, addressing a crowd of General Motors employees and suppliers. Trump revealed that the White House has ordered 250 Cadillac Escalades. The president praised the auto workers for building America while highlighting the massive government fleet purchase designed to... Okay, so why? This order highlights the federal government's enduring preference for Detroit steel, particularly GM's flagship luxury division, while General Motors continues to balance its long-term electrification goals. With current consumer demand, the brand keeps its core portfolio strong by re-emphasizing traditional gas-powered Cadillac models. Cadillac remains the premier choice for executive transport, maintaining a legacy that spans numerous presidential administrations. Okay, but why?
So, since you're talking about current events, Spain is being overrun by migrants.
I saw that.
80,000. Well, I sent you a couple videos, but 80,000 migrants. Well, here's the thing. So
they've been, dude, it's not just that they're jumping the border. Like it's a military operation. I've seen videos of like dump trucks full of migrants being dropped off.
12,000 an hour. 12,000 an hour.
They're being invaded. It's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. So I think it's this. So just hear me out. I'm sure we're going to get flagged for this. But we asked Spain to put bases in Spain for us to like air bases. And they said no. And then they win the World Cup here. Months later, not even 2 months later, Morocco let out a bunch of these prisoners and sent them over there. Now, and here's the thing. They're asking for the PM or whatever his title is, the leader of Spain, to step down because he had such loose border policies. Italy has cut ties basically with Spain and has locked down their border, even though they had super loose. Well, their migrant policy was uber loose.
Yeah.
And Trump was like, not Trump. I saw on the news, multiple people like, well, the UK's put on notice. They're getting invaded. They are getting invaded. And what are you guys going to do? And dude, I mean, residents are sitting here the mobs of residents are walking the streets just looking for these migrants. These migrants are hungry. They're cold. They've been beat up. They're breaking into people's houses. They're climbing onto second-story balconies, trying to get into people's houses. You see residents of Spain and other towns wrapping their balconies with concertina wire.
To keep
The
them
military,
out.
to keep them out.
Yeah.
The military is finally kind of getting involved, and the police are guarding stores and shops more than they're guarding the borders right now because it's so bad. They're getting overran. They are. They're getting. It's intense, dude. And it's like I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Wednesday. I'm on my phone on Instagram during my lunch break and just see, as far as the eye can see, just a line of migrants walking the coast, getting up a mountain into whatever the town was in Spain, starts with a C.
It's CEL something, Selvut or something like that.
I don't know, but it's wild. Why don't we switch to a little bit of a brighter subject? What's your what ifs? I heard you got a cover. Would you rather's?
Yeah, I've got some.
Hang on. Speaking of what ifs, my grandmother told me this a long time ago. So both my uncles, my grandmother's parents had 12 kids. Two of my uncles were very good football players, and both of them were given scholarships to go play football at school at like a D1 colleges a long time ago, obviously, and they both turned them down. One, my uncle Neil, his football coach, my uncle said no, and he went and worked at the mine that my grandfather partially owned. And my grandfather he had a bad back injury, and his coach went down into the mine and begged him to like take that scholarship. And he goes, no, I got to provide for my family now. And the other one, he went and got a job and totally said no too. But they were excellent football players. Like could have went and played at like Alabama or somewhere.
Yeah, could have went and made.
Yeah, and I asked, I was like, but don't they ever wish? He goes, Devin, the problem with playing what if games is that you're playing forever. Yep. And as a grown man now, as a kid, I was like, yeah, but now as a grown man, I'm like, yeah, I can understand why you don't want to play what ifs because I could do that 1,000 times in a row again in my head, you know? So that was it for that. All right.
Would you rather always have wet socks or always have a popcorn kernel stuck in your teeth?
Probably have the popcorn kernel stuck in my teeth, but it would depend on where. Like if it was on the outside or inside and like where at my mouth. Because the wet socks thing, that will dry.
That'll give you trench foot.
It'll give you trench foot. You'll probably get a cold.
Yeah.
And, at least a popcorn thing like.
My great grandma used to say, you better get some shoes put on. You're going to catch pneumonia.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably the popcorn kernel.
Would you rather never use the internet again or never watch TV or movies again?
See, but like this is a weird one because if I can watch TV, if I can watch the internet, if I have the internet, I could access movies and TV shows. But if I solely just watch TV and movies and I cut myself off from so much information and couldn't do this podcast anymore. So probably TVs and movies because
if we didn't have the podcast, I'd say internet.
I can watch YouTube on my TV.
We were doing just fine on the Farmer 5 before the internet took over. And because now everything's a damn subscription.
Yeah.
You can't just watch normal TV anymore. You got to have 17 different subscriptions for every different network, and that's pitiful the way entertainment's turned out to be, I think. But since we have the podcast, I'll say movies and TV.
See, but that's a weird gray area because if I have the internet, I could go on YouTube right now and watch probably any movie that I want.
Yeah, but that's not the choice. You either get internet or you get TV and movies. You don't get both.
Okay. Fine. Jesus, sorry. I'm thinking outside the box, so I'm not a dummy.
Well, you're not answering the question right, dummy.
Okay, so I would rather have the internet, I guess, yeah. Then.
All right. Would you rather relive high school or skip ahead 20 years into your future?
Dude, I'm not one of
This
those
is where
guys.
we find out Devin peaked in high school.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a peak in high school guy, but like, I'd rather relive high school and do things differently than
I'm with
see
you
where
there.
I'm at in 20 years and be like, fuck.
Yeah,
Because
right.
one, you can change your future, and the other one, you're stuck in your future.
Yeah.
So I'd
right.
probably relive high school and just not party as much and just really focus on my grades.
Well, that turns this into. I had it. Now I lost it. Would you rather have your browser history read aloud or your text messages projected on a giant screen?
My browser history read aloud.
Not nearly as many N words in your browser history.
No, I just don't watch. I don't watch adult content, and I don't really look up anything too crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
Do my eyes look blue?
I don't know. Well, you're red haired, so I just assume your eyes are always blue.
No, I have hazel eyes.
Hey, same. Samesies.
Yeah, samesies. I know. I was
hashtag twins.
Twins. Yeah. Nipples. What about you? What would you rather have? Your text messages projected or your browser history? Even the incognito searches would be revealed.
Probably my browser history. If I'm being honest, I don't do many impure things anymore. Not like I used to several years ago.
And there's just as many Edwards on there as there is my text messages.
All the anonymous Reddit posts I'm making. Oh, let's see. Would you rather switch lives with your co-host for a week or your biggest celebrity crush?
So it's either be my co-host or get dicked down by some dude.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I know, but it's celebrity crush, so it's a chick, so you're probably going to get dicked down.
What? No one said anything about getting dicked down.
I know, but if your crush is a chick and she's married, you're probably going to get...
You're still just hanging out. Why you got to get dicked down?
Getting dicked down.
You made it gay. I didn't make it gay.
Well, in that sense, it would be gay. Because I'm a chick.
No, you're not a chick.
What if I were to switch my life with my celebrity crush? I would then, in fact, be a chick.
Yeah.
So
I misunderstood my own question.
I don't know. I mean, probably my celebrity crush, just because, like, I don't know your life, but we talk on a pretty frequent basis, and so I don't think things would change like a bunch.
Yeah, and your wife's just wretched.
Yeah, and I would just be calling myself every other day just to check in, So could you imagine waking up to having like huge tits and being like in this huge mansion? But vice versa, she wakes up and like, where am I?
Also just has huge tits.
Yeah, they're not that big. For some reason, this camera makes it seem like I have the biggest, droopiest tits a man's ever had. And they're really not that droopy or that big. It just makes it seem so big. Why am I here? What is going on?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's trucker edition. Would you rather hit every red light in town or every way station be open? I'd rather every way station be open.
Yeah, because if I'm not,
I'm pretty steady. I'm pretty steady getting bypass lights. I very rarely get weighed. So
I can't stand red lights. So
dude, I came back from Gary, Indiana, back to Columbia City, beginning of last week.
Yeah,
every single red light from Valparaiso to Columbia City, every single one.
Did you take 30 all the way there?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's miserable.
That's what I'm saying.
Miserable.
Every one all along 30. It was the worst. There's like what, 20 freaking stoplights through that stretch? 25 stoplights probably.
Yeah. and they
Dude,
suck. All
miserable.
especially
In a big I mean, I was empty, so it wasn't the end of the world, but it was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Don't you go through Warsaw?
Oh, yeah.
And that stretch, they have the worst. It's like every not even half
feet.
mile. Yeah, it's a freaking stop, and they always hit, no matter what.
Would you rather drive through a blizzard for 12 hours or traffic jam for 12 hours?
I guess it depends like where I'm going, but like a blizzard. Now here's the thing, is it the start of a blizzard? Because I mean if
you're in a blizzard for 12 hours, you're going to get in the guts of it eventually.
Probably a traffic jam because eventually I don't know.
You're headed northeast in the same trajectory as the snowstorm, so the whole time you're just in it.
Yeah, it's just fun. Just literally, it's like over you, and you're like, how?
I'd drop south for a minute and then track my way, just get in there behind it or
it follow you. It come back with you, and you're like, dude, I can't win.
Oh man, check the radar, and you can just watch it.
Yeah. It seems to me the storm's following one trucker, and it's just you being like, I can't do this. I don't know, dude. I mean, here's the thing. You're stuck in a traffic jam for 12 hours, so it's not like you're going to get out of it in hour 4 and then be able to go. You're stuck in probably stuck in a traffic jam because I can just turn my truck off and just take a nap and eat.
Well, yeah, that. And, regardless, if you're just sitting there hanging out, it's much less stressful being in a traffic jam than it is driving in the snow and you can't see.
But with this question, it does entail that you do live through the blizzard.
I assume so. And you'll probably live through the traffic jam too, unless you get in a road rage incident.
Yeah, no shit.
You get shot 7 times.
I don't know. I'd probably sit in a traffic jam.
Get out of your car and get run over.
I'll probably sit in a traffic jam.
All right, last one. Then we can move on. Would you rather be famous for something embarrassing or completely unknown?
But that would just be me now. So
you're an embarrassment.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess it would depend on what it embarrassed. Like, are you famous for shitting your pants?
I would much rather be famous for shitting my pants than that one guy being famous for having like a 0.36 inch penis.
Yeah.
Like being famous for being having a micro penis.
It was both. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'd much rather be famous for like I said, like shitting my pants or falling down on the ice and breaking my tailbone or something like that,
So we had a kid who lived in our housing condition, and he was like 2 years younger than us. And right next to us were these 2 twin girls, and one of them dated him, right? So my friend, I'll call him Gerald, and I was just coming up with a name so I don't give a raise. I'll just call him T. So myself, my friend T, and
pure testosterone.
These 2 girls were all in like my friend's house hanging out. And none of us knew that this guy had a real small private area, a medically, like recorded thing. Like he had a micro penis. And so he was wearing basketball shorts and we were just hanging out and we're all laughing, joking around. And we had like little squirt guns. We were shooting each other. We're just dicking around, just having a good time. And so I get behind him and he's facing everybody talking just as I am. And I pants him and he's wearing boxers and everything. Well, they come down and I'm like 16. He's like 15. The twins are fit. Everybody's in their teenage years. Yeah, but I don't think they really had done anything like sexually or like anything like that. And so when I pantsed him, dude, his wee little Willy Winky is out and about in front of everybody.
Mushroom in a cornfield, huh?
Dude, I never saw him again. Like he was so embarrassed, dude. I remember him being like, dude, he was so mad. He was so mad.
Surprised he didn't turn around and wallop you.
Well, that's funny that you bring that up because
he did. He whipped my ass.
No, 3 weeks before that, he was a smaller guy, and that had everything to do with like his testosterone and all this stuff. Well, my brother was
like, you bullied him. He had a medical condition.
I didn't know he was. Well, so he's like 15, I think, and my brother's 11, and they get into an argument on our trampoline, and I was like, "Well, I'll just fight about
the boy.
it."
Yeah.
Just fight about it.
Break his neck. Be a man.
Dude, my brother and him go at it. My brother's hitting him. And this guy, T, pushes him down and kicks my brother in the head and breaks his foot over my brother's head. My brother stands up and punches him like 5 times because he breaks his foot. Automatically, it breaks. He falls down to the ground, and my brother stands up and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in the face. I was like, all right, enough. And like, this guy's like, I think I broke my foot. Dude, his mom was pissed, and my friend had it recorded on like his phone, and we showed his mom, and I was like, well, he agreed to fight my brother.
Yeah.
Who's very much smaller than him. And she was like, well, I'm not going to do anything, but he's not allowed to hang out with you guys. Well, he continued to hang out with us. And then he stopped hanging out with us after I pantsed him. And I did feel
Poor
bad.
guy.
That's one thing I did feel really bad about, because that girl and him stopped dating like instantly after that. It was pretty.
She saw her future right there.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And
poor
but
guy.
I saw him a couple of years ago.
Everybody saw his wiener, and his girlfriend left him in the same day. He's standing there in a walking boot because he just broke his foot.
I saw it, and he was. He really was.
What a bad situation for that kid.
I saw him a couple of years ago, and he had started taking like testosterone, I guess, out of high school, and things kind of changed for him. And I low key, because I swear I never really saw him again, and he lived like 5 houses down from me. And I was like, hey man, I never really got to apologize for the terrible thing I did to you. And he goes, you didn't know, but it really was not great. Like, it really embarrassed me. And he like told me how he felt, and I didn't want to stand around there and hear all of it, but I did. And
all right, have a good day. You go be gay somewhere else.
He stopped talking after I rolled my eyes for the 5th time. But no, I
He's just being an asshole for no reason. He's being vulnerable.
Yeah, I really did feel bad, and I still feel not nearly as bad because I apologized, but it was embarrassing for him. That was it. That was my micropenis story.
Damn, I was really hoping it was about you.
No, I don't tell that one. I haven't told this.
I pantsed the kid one time. I don't remember how old we were. 10, 12, something like that. We were at one of the local festivals, and it was dark, so it really wasn't the end of the world. But we were coming out of the event they had that night, demolition derby or truck pulls or something. I don't really remember. It was like 11 o'clock, midnight. We were walking back to our car, and we were on top of the hill. Like, I have the high ground looking down on the midway where the rides and the food and everything was.
Mm-hmm.
I come up behind him and grab shorts, underwear, all of it, and he's standing there just cocking balls in the wind.
Yes.
And he's just standing there, doesn't know what to do. And then it clicks. His wiener's out in front of all these people, and we're kids, it's not like he's an adult exposing himself, but it was like,
this is 2 weeks ago.
No, actually, this was last night. That festival's this weekend. But no, he pulls his pants up, and then we stayed friends, him and I, for a good little while. And I haven't talked to him for, God, 10, 15 years probably. I wonder if he still thinks about that. Probably not.
Was he hung?
I don't know. I was behind him. All I saw was ass cheeks.
I would have taken a peek.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. What's going on there?
What you got down there?
Yeah. It's really small. I'll just pull him up for him. I'll just pull his pants up for him. Like, it's all right, bud. It's all right.
I'm real sorry about that, bud.
Yeah. Somebody in the up front goes, what is that?
It's like a penis, but smaller.
I can't show my face here ever again.
And I don't think he ever has, or he didn't.
No. Well, I wonder what the first pantsing was like. Like, it was the 1400s, and like somebody was like loosening their trousers, and somebody goes, and it was like, Gerald.
Gerald.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know your pubic hair was that long. It's in a braid.
So Gerald, you have such an impressive bush. That's wild. It's well braided.
Not even any body lice in it. I can't believe it. Yeah. How are you doing that?
Piss.
He's just
Piss all over me.
hanging his dick and balls over the open toilet.
Yeah.
Back then for the ammonia and methane to kill all the body lice out of his bush.
No, it's like they've groomed his bush in such a way where his cock and balls hang over the bush. So it's just bush. How do you do that? How does one do this?
It's like a comb over, but asshole hair.
It's split in the middle, like one of those old 20s. Like
it's like a handlebar mustache. It comes out and around and twirls.
It twirls at the end. You're like, God. What kind of is that pomade you use? What do you use to get it like that? Just body oil. That's all
he's a Dapper Dan man.
Yeah, I'm a Dapper Dan man. I don't want fuck, goddammit. I'm a Dapper Dan man. We don't have to use bad language here, young fella. I can get it in about 2 weeks. Well, we're 2 weeks from everything. This is a geographical odyssey.
I love that movie so much.
I know, dude. Yeah. He was a horny toad. He's that Bible says when squeeze him. Yeah, I seen him first with those sirens when they're go to sleep, you little baby, when they're in the river. Or they're riding in the car and he can hear him out of the car. He goes, and he about to say, he like, stop the car. And they get out and oh my God.
He tears off running.
Yeah. $10 to sing in the can. He goes, oh, me and my company. Then he like lists them off. He lists like 4 other names. So they got like $100 basically or something like that. I don't know. Oh, so that movie is based off the Odyssey. But George Clooney says that was like the worst movie. Like he hated making that movie. And I was like, dude, That was one of your best movies that you've ever made. I was going to
say, yeah. I agree. I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
Oh, dude, I used to wait. I've watched it so much as a kid. We'd watch it all the time. I still put it on for my kids. And now it's weird, dude, because when I was a kid, for like 9, 10, 11, 12, I loved war movies and like old Southern movies and all. And my son's like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, this is like, fried green tomatoes or, Oh Brother Wartha. I'm like, these are beautiful movies. Yeah. Like, these are great movies. And like The Patriot, whatever.
Speaking of beautiful cinematic masterpieces, I put Convoy on for the kids tonight. We watched about half of that before it was bedtime. I'm telling you, man, I yearn for a time that doesn't exist anymore.
I think many of us do. Have you ever seen Fury with Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf, where it's like they're in World War II tank commander or sergeant, and he's
no, I've seen the previews or whatever for it, but never went and seen it. No.
It's kind of a graphic movie for kids. I had to skip like a couple parts, but dude, my sons really loved that. And I was getting like something to drink in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, like, like pop or something. And the first scene is like a Nazi officer riding on horseback and Brad Pitt jumps off the side of a tank and stabs him in the face. And I didn't know it. And I'm sitting there like pouring like orange juice or whatever. And my son's like, oh my God. It's like, what? And then I like get out and Brad Pitt's like taking the knife out of the guy's face. And I was like, oh yeah, shoot. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, shit. Sorry about that. Yeah, I should have fast forwarded that part.
But they like Saving Private Ryan. They're starting to come around to certain movies. But now it's just, I don't know. When I was a kid, I don't know if it was adult movies because they were adult movies or I loved history. I loved World War II. I loved Revolution. I loved the South and like Southern movies. So, Oh Brother Wartha, dude, it's just full of such good music, such a good story, such funny situations that like he's bona fide. Like, what does that even mean? Like a 9-year-old, like, what does that mean, he's bona fide?
Means he's the real deal, son.
Yeah. He done RUNNOFT. I love that.
He run off.
Yeah.
My oldest, she's 5, fixing to be 6 in a week, couple weeks. Anyway, she had an interest in zombies because of the monster truck Zombie. And So she was wanting to watch a zombie movie, and I was like, God, what is the like the tamest zombie movie that I can think of?
Zombieland.
Well, no, because even those zombies are still kind of like there's that like even for a fucking 5-year-old, those zombies are still pretty rough. And all the foul language.
Yeah.
So I was thinking either like Shaun of the Dead because it's kind of a funny movie, or the very first one, Night of the Living Dead. Being that it was made in the 40s or whenever it was, 50s, no foul language, no gore to speak of. I was like, we could probably watch that one. And I forgot about the part where, the daughter dies in the basement and comes and reanimates. And then, so the dad goes down there. The mom goes down in the basement. She reanimates. And then the mom is like, "Oh, my baby," calls her by name, whatever. And she comes over with a mortar trowel and just stabs her mom in the chest until she's dead. And I was like, oh God, I forgot about that part. That was nasty. And the music, that real sharp, spiky, so far, and this has been several months ago, but she never did have any nightmares or nothing about it. It didn't mess her up too bad. So I was like, I think we'll be all right. Of course, all the kids watched. I mean, we were all sitting there as a family, but my son never had any bad dreams about it. And my 2-year-old, for whatever, this is probably unrelated, but here just in the last like month or so has been starting to have bad dreams. She'll wake up in the middle of the night crying, but can't tell us about what she dreamt about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably, I think that one is probably the worst movie they've seen as far as like R-rated stuff or M-rated stuff, mature.
When my grandmother first watched Oh Brother Art Thou, and they catch a ride with Babyface Nelson. He's being chased by the cops, and there's cows on the side of the road, like on the side in the pasture. He goes, "I hate cows," and just starts lighting those cows up with that. Tommy says, "Oh my gosh, what do the cows do?" And then one of the cows wander off into the road and get hit by the cop car, and there's Easter eggs. She goes, "Oh my goodness, why are these poor cows being killed?" And I was laughing the whole time. You're losing some of your folding money, and it's just blown out of the wind. And then he's robbing the bank, and that old woman's like, "Babyface Nelson," and he goes, "What? Did one of you low life something sons of bitches call me Babyface Nelson?" That poor woman's like sitting there looking down, and they're like, "Now what was his name? I can't remember what his next name. She didn't mean anything by it." And he's like, he's freaking out. He's shooting the Tommy gun off, and he looks so sad. And it was just like one of the funny. Which one of you low life sons of bitch, whatever she called him. It's Babyface Nelson, but. Yeah, it's such a good man. That's such a good movie. I love that movie so much. It's such Americans like I guess there's some okay foreign movies. I'm sure there's gonna be some movie snob like you've never seen some French gay movie, but America makes such great movies. I mean, look, it's really hard for me to get into like old movies, like the 40s and 50s and like 60s. Late 70s, okay. 80s, I can get into. 90s, 2000s, so on and so forth.
Well, 90s and 2000s was nothing but explosions.
And just great. I mean, The Matrix is beautiful. That's 99. Yeah. Breaking Point with Patrick Swayze, I think. It was Patrick Swayze. And Keanu Reeves. Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was it Sandra Bullock? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Which is just crazy. Hot take, I never really liked the Ghostbusters very much. Just never.
Boo this man.
Especially the one with all the women in it, like the women Ghostbusters.
I never saw that one. I never saw that one, and I haven't seen the last two with the Ghostbusters kids.
it made all the men just looked retarded and helpless.
Well,
and
that
like
was
the whole point.
That movie came out in the height of DEI and women power.
When a lot of people don't like it, so it was.
Well,
it
yeah,
wasn't like
no, yeah, that's a pretty common opinion amongst moviegoers.
When I was a kid, I liked the Ghostbusters. But here's the thing: I love Bill Murray.
Yeah,
I think Bill Murray is one of the funniest.
Anything he touches turns to gold.
Yes,
he did. Like even in his like old age, like he did a hell of a job in Zombieland. That little role he played, that he did, that was so funny.
There's another movie he did called St. Vincent. He did like 10 years ago, and he was an old man in it, which because he's an old man now, and it was really good. But I've told you about this, but I'm really excited for Johnny Depp is doing a new Christmas Carol movie. And I love the Christmas Carol movies. And so I'm really excited about that. I love the one that Jim Carrey did. It's the animated one. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of not. It's kind of funny. I love that story. And I just watched with my sons a Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events with Jim Carrey. And the funniest thing is when he's acting like a dinosaur and he's like, wah! And he's like, doing that, dude, I piss myself every time that comes about. Yeah, but I love those movies. But real quick, I wanted to talk about Operation Paperclip. If any of you guys didn't know, Operation Paperclip was during and after, mainly after World War II. So the Soviets and the Americans were trying to get these Nazi scientists, and we also actually got some Japanese scientists as well. But we were on the hunt for these Nazi scientists because these guys invented the V2 rocket. So July 20th, 1945, the program was first established by the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staffs. It was named Operation Overcast, which I would love to know who comes up with these fucking names. And then in November of 1945, it was officially renamed Operation Paperclip, named after the paperclips attached to the personnel files of the selected scientists. September 3rd, 1946, President Harry S. Truman officially signs and authorized the directive expanding the program. In 1959, the active transfer under Operation Paperclip wound down. Through similar smaller intelligence and recruitment programs continued into the early 60s. During this period, the secret U.S. intelligence initiative brought over 1,600 German and Austrian scientists, engineers, and technicians, including prominent rocket engineer Werner von Braun, to work for the U.S. government following the defect of the Nazi Germany in World War II. See, a lot of people had issues with that because he did have knowledge of the concentration camps. He did have certain knowledge of stuff, and it was like a lot of these dudes, it was like their sins were forgiven basically just because they could develop this stuff. So there was ongoing joke that in like the 60s and 70s, if you walked into NASA and did the German salute and said their leader, their former leader, that everybody would stand up and give the salute. And I thought that was funny. But German scientists brought over Operation Paperclip, again working for the U.S. military in late 1945. But NASA itself was established in 1958, with the scientists formally joining the space agency in 1960. So like immediately after World War II, we made these deals, and these dudes got nice homes, nice pay, like everything. They kind of got whatever they wanted out of the deal as long as they helped us establish and grow our space program and our military exploits as far as like rocket or jet propulsion and innovating the next go around. And a lot of people also believe that the Germans had extraterrestrial technology, that they had found a UAP or a UFO and were kind
reverse engineered it.
Yeah. Yes. And so that we were trying to work with that. And then also I think in 48 is when Roswell happened, maybe, when supposedly a UFO crashed and then they took pictures of a weather balloon. Also, though, with that being said, a lot of the generals and people that were involved with Roswell, when they first made their statements like, no, it was a weather balloon, before they died, a lot of them recanted that and said, no, it was an extra. It was a UFO that they found and that they took off of there. Now, in September 1945, the scientists arrived in the U.S., led German rocket engineering Wernher von Braun, and his initial team arrived in the United States in September 1945. They were stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas, and White Sands Proving Ground, New Mexico, developing guided missiles for the U.S. military. In the 50s, moved to Redstone Arsenal. The team was transferred to Huntsville, Alabama, which Huntsville is huge with our space program still to this day, where they developed the Redstone and Jupiter missiles, as well as Explorer 1, America's first satellite, in 1958. July 29th, 1958, NASA was established. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, creating NASA, which is officially opened October 1st. And then July 1st, 1960, transferred to NASA. Eisenhower officially transferred Wernher von Braun Army Development Group to NASA, created the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville. Von Braun became the first director leading the design and construction of massive Saturn V rocket that powered the Apollo moon landing. So, think about that, though. Like, it went from we had no space program. We got these German and Austrian scientists to come over here, created a whole program for these people, and then created a whole division, basically, of the government for them, which I think is wild, too, because, I mean, yeah, I think we had scientists from all over the world, but before any of this happened, we just created the A-bomb, the atom bomb, we just dropped nukes. We just revolutionized the way warfare was done again. I mean, and the Germans, with their weaponry, as far as their guns, their planes, I mean, they had crazy weaponry, and so did the United States. But like, these guys are so intelligent. These dudes were linked to some crazy things. And then in the 60s, May 25th, 1961, JFK, quote, said, "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." And then in Rice University, in September 12th, 1962, we choose to go to the moon. Yeah, we choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade. And we do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. That's what he said, unquote. Which I love that speech. I do love that speech by him. And then the U.S. first reached the moon and landed humans on the surface on July 20th, 1969, during the Apollo 11 mission. July 16th, 1969, we launched. July 20th, landing. And July 20th, the first step, where famously it was stated by Neil Armstrong, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And then July 24th, 1969, they returned with the crew in command of the module pilot, Michael Collins, who remained in lunar orbit, safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, fulfilling President Kennedy's 1961 goal before the decade was out. So think about that. From 45 when this started, 24 years after that, we landed people on the moon.
Yeah.
1903 was the first time anybody had ever flown a plane. And so 66 years later,
now all of a sudden
we're landing
in
somebody on
space.
the moon. Yeah, we're in space.
Yeah.
And before that, the Germans come up with a V2 rocket. They have jet planes, they have jet propulsion. We're flying Mustangs and P-52. I think it is a P-52 Mustang. And is it P-52? I know there's a B-52.
We got airplanes with propellers and airplanes with jet propulsion in the same war.
Yeah.
Fighting against each other.
And you can hear recordings of like the first time American fighter pilots saw a jet from the Germans. Like, what was that? Like, what? How? Because they were going so much faster than them. It was.
I just looked it up a minute ago. It was the Germans had the technology, but it was a joint effort between the UK and Germany to create the first jet plane.
Well, there's a link between Germany and England. Well, here's the thing. a lot of I believe I said this, a lot of the royalty that was in Europe, a lot of them, even from like the 1300s, 14, 15, so on, were German. Germany had a bunch of like the king and queen of, once was the queen of England. Now that family changed their last name. They were German. So there's a big link between Germany and the UK. I mean, the Europe in general. I mean, look at World War One. I mean, all those cousins. That was a war between cousins.
Right.
That was. I mean, it just
a family affair.
Yeah, that killed millions of people. Yeah. Yeah. And then because of World War One happened World War Two, and just so on and so forth. And the Japanese had scientists, but they did a lot of fucked up things to U.S. like prisoners and stuff. Like I think it was Unit 731. The Japanese had these scientists and these doctors that did horrific experience. And you could even go into like what Germany did after World War II in Argentina, how they did terrible things to the Argentinian people. And I mean, it's so wild. Like what happened during and after World War II, some of the craziest things happened that, I mean, a lot of people don't know about. And obviously I'm just reading stuff off of Google or whatnot. But I knew a lot of this beforehand. It was just, I'm trying to give more accurate points on like dates and like what exactly happened. But it's,
so you don't sound fake and gay.
Yeah. Well, gay, but my point in all this is like how quickly from 1903 to 1945 to then 69. And now even look now. I mean, even in Vietnam, I don't know about Korea. There probably was, but in Vietnam, we had jets. We were pushing, we were fighting things. I mean, dude, we
was fighting and stuff.
Dude, if you showed people from 1945 or even like, let's say 1903 to like 1945 on like the aircraft we have now, they're like, this is obviously it's the future, but they'd be like, oh, this is unbelievable. We can't believe the stuff that you guys have. Could you imagine like an F-16 or not an F-35, the newer 6th gen? I mean, just the technology we have, the radar systems, everything is just so much more advanced. Or like these stealth bombers, dude, these crazy stealth bombers we have that are just wild.
Well, like the B-2 bomber, the Freedom Dorito.
Yes.
Like was when we had supersonic passenger flight for a little bit, the Concorde.
The Concorde, which people hated because of the sound. The only reason why that didn't exist is because of how loud and like the sonic booms that would come off of it. But they're trying to bring that back. They're bringing it back to where it's quieter.
Yeah, I've heard about that, which I don't know how they could make it any quieter. It's still sound.
Alien technology.
Yeah,
Get
probably.
Right.
They're gonna have some dark matter drive system in there, making it warp through time and space.
It's just
simultaneously take off and then land at the next airport. Ba-boom.
It's just Voldemort up there just whisking his wand.
Or like the Event Horizon with the dark matter warp drive in the tail of it. All of a sudden they just go to hell and come back out the other side.
That dude, that's some of these dudes. I mean, some of this stuff, man. You could. Like, one I really want to get into is, like, why we invaded Iraq was all about, like, what's it called? It's Stargate. That Saddam Hussein had Stargate, like a portal, and that's why that's a theory. Because he thought he was King Nebuchadnezzar reincarnate, and so they believe that he had Stargate, and that's there's a theory that's why we invaded Iraq. Was because of that.
I've heard the theory that there's a Stargate in under one of the Great Pyramids.
Yeah.
There's this like 40-foot tall metallic tic-tac looking, like a oblong thing, just looks like a giant metallic tic-tac that is so many feet down below ground, and it's completely filled in. The only reason they found it was LiDAR, and they can't, try to think, they can't, like, there's a certain portion of it that's underwater, and they can't get to it without breaking through bedrock to get to it. And if they broke through bedrock, the water table is so high, if they broke through, it would flood that whole area and fill it all the way to the top. So there'd be no way for them to get in there and excavate it without some sort of major pumping situation. But the going theory is that metallic tic tac is a Stargate, because there's in the upper levels of the pyramid that it's under, there's hieroglyphs of a Stargate. Like there's a big circle shape with people walking through it, and then in the foreground there's just a crowd of people standing there watching these people come through this Stargate. And so they think that giant metallic figure underneath that pyramid is actually a Stargate, and they buried it. So back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they rerouted some river nearby to help farmers grow crops in that area. And when they did that, it fed the ground, but it also raised the water table up so high. And that's the problem they're running into. Like, they either reroute the river to its original path and then starve the farmers of the water that they desperately need, or to get down in there to explore these caverns with that thing in it, or they have to figure out how to divert the water from underground via pumps, or like digging, like they were even thinking about just digging a big fuck off hole off to the side and basically making a man-made lake out of it to redirect some of the water and lower the water table back down so they could get down there to look at that, to figure out what the hell's down there.
Well, if I took my shop vac down there, I'd have it done probably in about 2 hours. I could just suck it out.
Well, you just take a garden, just a 6.
That's very violent. That'd be a very violent, strenuous situation. You'd be so cleaned out. Oh no!
You talk about getting a colonic, man. That'd be
dirty water. It'd be such dirty Egyptian.
Yeah, but it's all coming out of the sand though, so it'd be perfectly clean and filtered.
Oh, and there's probably dead mummies in it, and so you can't
dead mummy nuts.
I'll just take Brandon Fraser with me.
That's right.
He could save me.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Even in his old age, he's still a stud.
He's an American icon. Don't you dare talk about his age.
Hey, whoa! I just said he was a stud.
Yeah.
Don't come on me like that.
Don't you dare tempt me with a good time. I'll come on you so quick.
Don't you come on my back and tell me it's raining.
Yeah. I'll come on your forehead and let you see it.
God.
I'm a gentleman.
You do it from behind somehow.
Yeah. It just I can angle it. It's like a mortar.
Yeah. It's like Wanted. You got to curve the bullet.
Just like
swing your hips around just right.
I just knocked my hip out of place coming on your forehead. I better get some nastiness out of you. Some pleasantries. Damn. Everybody, we hope everyone has a great day, a good week. We appreciate all who listen, watch our clips, and all the stuff we always say. We appreciate it.
Like, comment, good or bad. Tell us we're gay. Whatever, it don't matter.
Yeah,
engagement's engagement.
Yeah,
follow the show. Follow the show at the Tangent Plant, and
yeah. Hope everyone has a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.